Good morning, good morning. It's PCT day number 105. It's a rather chilly morning. Not the coldest, but still rather cold. I slept really well last night. Enough so that when I woke up this morning I didn't want to move because I just wanted to go back to sleep because it was so good. It felt nice. Felt nice being back in the tent, honestly. As much as I love sleeping in beds, there's something about your own tent and air pad and quilt that just lulls you off into a good sleep. That's when you know you've been through hiking for too long. Let's see. Today, our plan is to get as close to the Timberline Lodge as we can. So, between 26 miles to 30 miles is probably around where we're aiming. There's a campsite at 26, and then there's a campsite at 30 miles for today. And so we'll see which one we go to. Honestly, the 26 should be fine. It's just if we get there early enough, we'll just keep going. So today, we start the day off with a climb, and then it kind of is flat for the remaining part of the day, cruisy flat. So, and if we do go to the 30 mile though, that starts the beginning of probably the steepest climb in Oregon we've had so far, according to the comments and grade, but I don't think it should be bad. It shouldn't be bad. But either way, tomorrow morning we're gonna get some breakfast at the Timberline Lodge. It's a hiker tradition. For those that don't know, the Timberline Lodge is like 2 days out from the Washington-Oregon border, and it's basically right on trail, and they do an all-you-can-eat buffet for breakfast and lunch, and it's really good food according to what everyone says. So it's pretty much a tradition that all hikers try and hit it in the morning, stay for lunch and then leave. However, I don't think we're going to stay for lunch. I think we're just going to do breakfast and then hit the trail again. So I think we're all just really excited to get to Washington. And it's 6:30 in the morning. That's when we start hiking. So we'll see how far we can go. I mean, yesterday we started at noon and got to camp at like 6:30 and almost did 20 miles. So we'll see what today brings. So anyway, here's to hiking. This is what we do during breaks. We find amazing rocks to lie down on and just relax. How does it feel, Foxtail? Stream, the water. It's pretty relaxing. So it is noon, we just had lunch, and now we're taking a little bit of a detour off of the PCT to go visit Little Crater Lake. So it should be just a nice half miles, kind of a stroll thing. I don't know, we'll see what it looks like. Anyway, we're about 14-ish miles in for today, about 13 miles left. Yeah, it's gonna be a good day. So we are at camp right now, and they just have a porta potty at this trailhead, but this truck just came with the pit toilet. Delivered especially for us, although it's probably not going to be up and ready for us to use at all, but still pretty cool. Well, this is Tent Talk for PCT day number 105. We are at mile 2092.5, which puts us just about 5.5 miles till we reach Timberline Lodge, which we are hoping to get there a little bit before 8 tomorrow because we have reservations for the breakfast buffet. Now that brings me to today's Menu Monday. I'm going to do a little bit of a different thing today. Instead of talking about a food item, I'm going to talk about the Timberline Buffet. It is known as one of the most important food stops on the PCT. It is the main creator for the 24-hour challenge on the PCT. A lot of hikers will hike for 24 hours straight to make it so that they can reach the Timberline Lodge for breakfast in the morning. Now they do breakfast and they also do a lunch buffet. Now a lot of hikers get there early enough that they can do the breakfast buffet, and then they stay long enough that they can also do the lunch buffet. However, when we get there, we're not planning to stay around for the lunch buffet. We think breakfast is fine enough. We'd rather just keep pushing to make it so that we can get to White Pass in Washington early enough for my mom to possibly join me on the trail. But yeah, it's known to be one of the highlights. It's only about 50 miles away from the Washington border. It's like a huge celebratory meal for the end of Oregon and the last state of Washington. It's placed in a part where almost every hiker has hiker hunger by that point. If not, there's possibly something wrong. You don't have hiker hunger by the end of Oregon. And so buffet with hikers is always well loved. Now, something I've heard from a lot of hikers that have passed is that they're most excited for the pastries. Things that we can't get on trail, like pastries. Me personally, it's fruit and drinks. Also salads. Literally the most low calorie dense food is the food I crave on trail, which is so helpful. But yeah, pastries, all of the above. Super excited for it. It's not far off trail too, so yeah, it's gonna be good food, hopefully. Let's see. So today's pretty fruit. Today is a rock called Nap Rock. At least that's what Foxtail and I are calling it. It is a rock that we had at our first break of the day before lunch. And it was by, I think it's called Oak Something Creek. But it was by a creek that we followed on the PCT for a little bit. And it was stunning. It was just right by the water and by this big flowery bush, which actually is the sketch for today. And there's a couple of photos of both Foxtail and I rest on this rock. And it's
always a plus when hikers can find a rock that is literally leaned back in the perfect way and long enough that you can just rest on and smooth, and you just lie on it. It's cold, it feels nice on the back. And then this one was right by the creek, so you could hear the creek as it went, and it was just so therapeutic to just lay on that rock and just rest. Of course there were some mosquitoes there, but they weren't bad. Just suited up and they were fine. But it was definitely one of the highlights for today. That and also seeing Mount Hood as we were hiking. Let's see. Now the gritty for today is actually something that doesn't affect me right now, but there are more fires popping up in Oregon. And it's just really sad to know that some of the hikers behind us are getting caught in them and having to be pushed off of trail due to closures and coming around. We were really lucky that we only got caught behind one active fire closure. I mean, the Lion's Head fire closure was also there, but that was not from an active fire. That was from a fire from 2 years ago, I believe. Whereas the fire closure, the first one at Crater Lake that we went around, was active fire. The Wendigo and Tolo Mountain fire. We just actually ran into some hikers that we met in NorCal that got pushed out of the Shelter Cove area where we hiked because of fires. They had a fire pop up across the lake from them. It's kind of sad to know that it also changes the PCT. The beauty of it changes and evolves because it gets burned. So now there's more burn zone to go through. However, most of these fires that I've been hearing about, they're not actually burning on the PCT. They're closed because it's close enough that it could start burning on the PCT, and the rescue/firefighter people can't help rescue people as they're trying to fight the active fire. And also all that smoke is not good to be inhaled. So yeah, that's the gritty for today. It's just all the fires that keep popping up. Let's see, with that, here is my sketch and my foot picture, and of course my message is, fam, I love you, rock on, and as always, we shall see you on the trails.